Well, hello there, beautiful internet and fantastic creatures of the beyond. Today we're going to tackle XML because XML is not as scary as it might look. So, we have an empty file here, and this is what's generated in the XML when we first open it. So, basically, it has 4 lines of code. The first one is generally more or less the details about the file itself, the Inkscape version. Don't touch it. Then you have the Sodipodi, which is basically all the settings that you might find in the property documents, in the document properties, sorry. So for example, if you want to change this to checkerboard, you go with a 1 or a 0. Nothing too complex. You have other things here, like for example, pixel for the document units, the height and size, and so on. Then this one relates to the layers. As we can see, it's called canvas. And every time you create a new one, it's going to create one underneath. If you're going to create, let me undo this. If you're going to create something within the layer, it's going to be nested here within the layer. You also have two types of things. You have element nodes, and then you have text nodes. Element nodes are something like GID and so on. Text nodes are just as they sound, text nodes. You can type. Of course, they have more functionality than that, but it is a bit too broad of a topic to explain in a simple sentence what they really do. Just know that you should let Inkscape handle how it implements all of these things. Most of the time, you should just edit them. If you really know how to use them, then implement them yourself. And then you have the defs. Now this one comes predefined with a set of, well, let's call them instructions. But you can remove them and it's gonna be all right. But usually Inkscape predefines them just in case you need them down the line. You can think of this structure sort of like this. First of all, don't try to change the way they are set up here, this hierarchy. Otherwise, you will not be able to operate Inkscape, the file within Inkscape or within other software. So just leave it as it is. So this is the glue that holds this other three together. These are related to the document properties. This you can think sort of like the mind of the file. So you cannot see thoughts, but you can act upon your thoughts and then make them happen through your body. So basically, the body is within the layers. Um, Basically, everything that happens within the mind is unseen. And let's give an example. If I'm gonna create this thing over here and I'm going to give it a blur, it's going to create within the def, it's going to generate over here the filter one. Filter one relates to the blur, to Gaussian blur. And in this case, if you look at the rectangle, it says here in the filter, it's looking for filter one. Usually you can know that a filter is associated with a specific rectangle because of the number. So for example, if I'm going to create a new rectangle, in this case is rectangle 2, and I'm going to give it a blur, it's going to create filter 2. And so on and so forth. It increments by 1. And if you want to make sure that this is the filter one that it's looking for, you go to the filter editor, and voila. Well, in this case it's filter 2 because I selected the first one, but if I'm gonna go select the first rectangle, you see it's filter 1, for second rectangle is filter 2. Easy peasy. Now most of the time you don't have to bother too much with XML, but understanding how it works, it makes it easy for you to open the file within a text editor later on, if you don't have access to Inkscape, and actually make modification directly there. And if you want to trim out some of the code, you can also do that. And don't be afraid, you should always create a copy of your file that you're working on in case you mess something up. and then always test it in Inkscape. If it crashes, well, Inkscape is a champion at crashing, so you're just helping it crash better, you know. But nevertheless, this is the core of how most SVG works, regardless of which software you make. Aside from the Sodipodi part, which is more akin to Inkscape, more or less you're going to see GID and so on created in Illustrator. I mean, the file generated as SVG created in Illustrator and other vector-oriented software out there. And the devs is it's always there. It's always going to be there. Okay, guys. Hope this small overview of how XML work in the XML editor, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Stay awesome. Bye 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 bye.